So, how do you feel you did tonight?
I think I did well. Yeah, I think it was a tight format, and I thought that made it hard to really hit substantive points for folks. But I tried to do my best, new to this experience of getting a point across and actually, frankly, answering the question. Sometimes I got confused as to what the question was by the time it got to me because I was like, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what this has to do with what we were asked. But yeah, I think it went really well. I think I made a clear differentiation for folks between me, Ben, LeBon, and Nate of, hey, I'm the progressive here who actually has a plan and is actually thought this through of what I'm going to get done and doesn't just say Medicare for all.
What is your message to voters in these last few weeks, especially? They have 4 names to choose from on this ballot. Why they should choose you?
Sorry to repeat myself, but my message to voters would be, yeah, if you support these progressive policy goals like affordable healthcare, well, let me stop myself. Not just affordable or not just progressive policy goals, but these things that are going to make everyone's lives easier, whether they're quote unquote progressive or whatever. I have thought these things through and I will fight for them with actual, real, detailed plans. I have a track record as an attorney, as a partner now, of getting things done, of building coalitions. I know I haven't been in elected office. I wear that as a badge of honor because I look at everyone else who has been in elected office. But if you want to vote for someone who's going to lower the cost of healthcare, who's going to get, housing more affordable so people can actually buy homes, who's going to push to lower the cost of education so that people aren't struggling with student debt when they graduate and they have to climb out of that after a course of 10 years, then you should support me because I'm going to get to Congress and I'm going to fight to get those things for you.
You hit Ben McAdams on his owning stock in data center.
Yep.
He says he was paid in stock for a startup company. He didn't sell any of those. And then he also said the work he did for them was to do renewable energy on that data center.
Sure.
Is that response good enough for you, or is it still problematic?
No, I think it's still problematic that he owns an interest in a data center, period, for me is problematic because that makes me question, when you're an elected official, you're going to be making decisions that can affect things like that. I don't think you should have an interest in a data center that I think they're just bad for Utah. They're bad for our water. They're bad for our natural resources. So I don't want you having an interest in it. I don't think that it should matter that what you were doing was making it less bad. It's just bad. It's a bad thing. So you working on renewable energy things for it and then getting paid in an interest, what does that tell me? You have a vested financial interest in this data center down in Delta succeeding and doing well. If this turns out if the projections and assumptions they've baked in that it's going to, be less energy intensive turn out to be wrong, Ben McAdams is not going to turn his back on that. He owns an interest in it. He's going to support that data center. So no, it's not good enough for me.
How do we keep up with the demand for AI if we don't have data centers, if you're just saying they're all bad? Because he's kind of saying, let me weed out the bad actors.
Sure. Yeah, I think the push to aggressively scale up computing power so we can stay ahead in the race for AI with China, I think that's misguided. I think that, sorry if that came off as rude, but I think that begs the question that rushing ahead for having dramatic increases in AI is inherently a good thing, and I just don't think it is. I have not seen anything from developments in AI that makes me think, oh, we definitely should be upending our economy and burning our natural resources so we can make sure we have the best AI slop in the world. Show me that it actually is going to be worth it before we burn all these resources because some rich investors are saying, we need this. We've needed a lot of things. We needed tulips. We needed a bunch of .coms that burst. It's going to be another bubble, in my opinion. It's going to burst, and we're going to be left holding the bag. So, no, I don't want to trust people who have a financial interest in it to say we have to push ahead on this.
What is your response to this call to coalesce around a candidate who polls the best in order to go up against Ben McAdams? You've seen this call from Nate Lewis.
Yeah. Nate was trying to essentially bully me and LeBon into joining on this push poll that he's going to put out. I think it's misguided. I think it's him attempting, and he was demanding that we do it before the debate because I think Nate knew he was going to do badly at the debate because he's a bad debater. But I think it's him trying to it's giving desperation is what I'll say, that he's trying to push us to coalesce so that we can take out Ben McAdams. Nate, if you're the best candidate, be the best candidate. Prove that to people that you're the best candidate. I think I'm the best candidate. I'm trying to prove that to folks. Instead of having politicians choose their voters, we're now having politicians choose their politicians. Go out there, run your race, win your race. If you're the best candidate, then you're going to win, Nate. And if you're not, then you're not going to win.
Did any of the three of you distinguish yourselves tonight enough to challenge Ben, or is it going to be you guys splitting up the vote and him walking away with this thing?
Yeah, I will say I hope that I did. I mentioned earlier that I felt it was a bit rushed on the responses you can make out, but I do think, my answer on healthcare of, hey, I'm going to fight for single payer healthcare, and I actually have a 3-step plan of how we could get that done. No one else on the stage comes even close to me on a healthcare plan like that, or frankly on any other plans like that. I am not saying that detailed policy plans win elections, hence we didn't have a President Hillary Clinton, but showing people that you have thought these things through, that Nate, LeBon, Ben, they're running to be in Congress. I'm running to get things done in Congress. I'm not running for the job. They're running for the job. Nate and LeBon haven't thought any of these things through. So trying to differentiate myself for folks of, hey, if you support me, then you're supporting someone who has thought through how they're going to get these things done for you. And that's, I would hope, going to differentiate me from them.
The national debt is $39 trillion. Do you see this as a concern? And if you do, what would you be willing to do to cut spending in Congress?
Yeah, so I kind of reject the premise that just the fact that the national debt is high is a concern, because I don't want Democrats going into Congress or in the White House and saying, oh boy, a Republican blew up the national debt again. We got to fix it again. Like we have gone through this cycle. We can tackle the national debt exploding yet again under a Republican president without cutting social safety net spending. So yes, we can tackle the national debt by raising taxes on rich folks and using some of that revenue to pay down the national debt, but we can also cut, for example, military spending. We can audit the Pentagon, and if, surprise, surprise, they yet again fail to pass an audit, we can scale back military spending. We don't need to be spending more than the next, I don't know how many it is, now 10 countries combined on military spending. Like, the only reason we do that is because of money involved in politics.
Outside of the Pentagon, what areas would you cut?
I've mostly thought about cutting Pentagon spending and stopping tax cuts for the rich, because I think those are the two biggest drivers of things that people don't want, of inequality and of wasteful forever wars. So I think that's the biggest way to address it. But my platform is not premised on let's lower the national debt. It's premised on, yeah, we can lower the national debt by taxing rich folks and actually having a fair tax system and cutting wasteful military spending. The main benefit of that is that we're not sending our men and women to die in stupid, pointless wars in the Middle East and anywhere else, but especially in the Middle East, and so that the rich can actually pay their fair share for once. And scene.
All right,
We're good.
we will call it.
All right, awesome. Thank you.